Hey, everybody.
That was an epic introduction.
Yeah, I know. I don't know if we're ever going to live up to that.
I'm always afraid of these chairs.
Do a backflip.
I'm afraid I'm gonna
Body slam me.
How are you doing, guys? How's it going so far in Indiana for you?
We're staying hydrated, it looks like.
Hey, it's Dasani. It's my favorite brand, so I can't complain at all. So
This panel brought to you by...
yeah, no sponsorship. But I was gonna say the State of Play just dropped. Just this last week. We're super excited to see a bunch of games.
Yeah.
And it just kind of I thought to myself, right off the rip, I'm gonna be working with you guys, with these lovely people. Thank you. Let's give it up for them one more time, guys. Thank you. Does seeing the State of Play bring back any memories from when you first saw your trailer starting to circulate around?
The first time that I saw it was the hostage scene trailer, I guess, was the first bit, was at E3 in 2018, and I was sat in a giant theater and we watched the trailer. It was really surreal because you just you just I don't know, you finally believe it. You're like, oh, they really were making this all. Yeah. Was it trippy for you?
Yeah, I remember just being like, oh my God, it's him! He's right there! Like, yeah. So it was very exciting, and there's so many cool games that are coming out. I'm especially excited about Lara Croft. I think that's the one I'm the most stoked about coming up next.
Absolutely. Well, in the same vein, with Heavy Rain, Until Dawn, we just got Until Dawn 2 just got announced as well, and it's kind of cool. We're circulating back into the whole mocap acting, and voice recording. I really enjoy that. How was it for you guys putting on all the balls and being able to act your scenes out at the same time?
I really enjoyed my experience doing performance capture at Quantic Dream, especially because we got to just have these little dots on our face. That I've done performance capture where I had to wear a big headpiece rig, and we didn't have to do that for. Is this maybe?
Can you hear us?
You hear us?
Do we? Okay.
So I felt very free. It felt a lot more very free doing performance capture for Detroit, and it's also just so cool and science fiction-y, and it felt very much in line with the world of Detroit already. So it just helped to create that imaginative space.
Yeah, there was a sort of rigidity to the suit, which I think helped for Connor. It's probably not all characters benefit by being in a little lycra suit.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was cool. It was a kind of freeing in a way. When you do film and television, you're often told this is what we're gonna see in the frame, and the shot size, and so you're playing to a certain angle and a certain level of detail. But in performance capture, you're doing all of the angles all of the time. So it's much more like theater in the round, where you kind of get permission to forget the camera and forget all of that technical aspect, and you just get to play. It's just it's a room much like this. It's just not this big, but just there's nothing. There's just a bunch of
many cameras.
Many cameras.
And I can imagine that's a stark contrast to the actual audition process. I hear a lot of the times you guys don't even get a heads up of what you're auditioning for. You're just given just a line and maybe a personality that they want you to try to fulfill. Can you take me into the mind of that when you guys were auditioning for it?
Well, I auditioned for Detroit at Quantic Dream, so I got to do it in the performance capture volume.
Right off the bat?
Yeah.
Wow.
So because Brian had already been cast as Connor, and I got to go along with him as his girlfriend, just going to get to be in Paris, and then there was some mix-up or they didn't have somebody to play Tracy, and Brian was like, "What? Amelia is here, and she's been running all of these lines with me. Why don't you see if she, could be the right fit?" So I went in and I auditioned for David, and then right afterwards he was like, "All right, you are our Tracy." So
that's awesome.
Yeah.
And Brian, did they already have people trying to pair you with before they saw the I guess the best slot for her to fill. Did they already try to put you with other people, trying to see if they if they fit the mold?
Oh, I had gone to Paris to do what I was told was the last time of filming for Connor. So I'd gone back and forth a couple of times, maybe like over 4 years, like 4 or 5 times, and we'd record different segments. Usually in a general chronological order. All the stuff with Clancy Brown for Hank was recorded all in one session, in one group. Oh man, you got your LED glowing on the whole thing.
I just saw them glowing.
Very cool. That's what the question was about Tracy. No, there was it was supposed to be the last time that I would film, and then there was some scheduling conflict with the other actor who was not there, and so then they were telling me like, okay, so we might have to have you come back here to do this again because we can't finish everything that we need to finish in this trip. And then I was like, idea. And I mean, Amelia's played every character that Connor talks to in Detroit
All right,
Become
so
Human.
it worked out.
She's played all of Hank and all the, she just was helping me get off book and rehearse and stuff. So I was like, well, I mean, the perfect person for this part is like,
Yeah, the chemistry was already there.
Right. Yeah. So, that was cool. It was fun to get to work together. It was a big surprise.
Yeah.
And I was planning on surprising Amelia with proposal for marriage after we finished the recording, and then she surprised me by joining the cast, which has had a huge impact on the rest of our life since, because we get to go and do all this cool stuff together. Yeah. And it's really nice.
That's awesome.
We like it.
That's great. I know we also have a freestanding mic too, guys. So if you guys have any questions, I will talk to them all day. But if you'd like to ask questions, if you'd like to line up right over here, we'd love to open it up to Q&A as well. But before,
or if some of you really want to be asked questions, I'll trade seats with you, and I'll ask you questions, and you can see how it feels. You all look so beautiful backlit.
I know.
I believe we have already got our first. Yes, they start to line up. Yes. And as they,
so orderly.
I love it. No, and as they go through that, I was curious. What are you guys playing now? If it's a video
What are we
game thing,
right now?
Yeah.
Well, we just finished playing through Detroit again.
For the eighth time.
Yeah.
And we're still...
Still though, we were finding new things, which was amazing.
I love it.
Yeah,
That's
and so
awesome.
we were having new outcomes, which was very exciting.
we had to do it a different way this time.
Yeah, we did. We did it with die. So we were making the die make all the decisions for us, and so
right.
chaos was definitely ensuing. But it was a lot of fun.
It was very hot and cold, very back and forth, but it helped us to find a bunch of... Okay, no one should be in the seats. Everyone just against this wall. We're actually playing dodgeball, so I need half of you guys. No.
No, but I love it. That game style, the format of the game, just like starting off with Telltale, Heavy Rain, Until Dawn, it was a slow and steady process, and now I feel like I'm seeing it more and more often, with the Dark Pictures games coming out. I'm going through the casting of Frank Stone multiple times. The cutting room floor is like one of the best things where you can go through and you can see all the different decisions that you make.
Oh, I haven't played that one.
Oh, you're missing out. If you like horror, I would definitely go that way. But with yours, I love the dark tone. I love the iRobot feel of it all. Like, did you take inspiration at all from any of that while going through the recording process?
Oh, when I booked Connor, I watched literally everything I could possibly watch that had AI coming to sentience. Was pretty much the main theme. An unusual reference that people sometimes don't expect is Robin Williams' Bicentennial Man, which I really loved. And I think there's a lot of that kind of naivete in Connor that comes from Bicentennial Man. Obviously, Data and Star Trek, and we have, C-3PO. Perhaps you've heard of the guy. So the most Android side of it comes from a lot of that, but there's it's an interesting twist because a lot of times, humanity is the one in this game where it's you're trying to determine you're not seeing it from the human point of view looking at androids. You're seeing it from the android point of view looking back at humans. So I think it asks a lot of interesting questions, and it's changed. Like when we played this game 8 years ago for the first time when it came out, like everybody was like, yeah, let these androids live their best lives. Like we love these guys. They're ooh, so sweet. And now everyone's like, androids are taking my job. It's like the conversation is switched a lot. And so it's like, we hate these androids now, so everybody's starting to see how Hank feels. Right, man? Yeah.
Well, I'd say the closest that I feel like I'd gotten to it at that point was the Institution with Fallout 4, dealing with the synths, you know what I mean? But actually being able to take it from your perspective and not just joining in the fray midway through, but starting off as one. You definitely do get a really unique perspective. You know, and being able to play that's got to be a lot of fun too.
Definitely.
Awesome.
We got a lot of good cues,
up.
and we have
Let's
some,
get 'em going.
some even are dressed and ready. Cool.
Yeah. Well,
Hey.
hello.
Hi, my name's Teresa. I've been a fan of the game since it came out when I was in high school, and then all the way through college, and now I'm a music teacher. So my question is about music. One of my favorite things about Detroit Become Human is the music. I actually wrote about Connor's soundtrack by Nima Fakrara in a paper in college when I was in music school. So I'm really looking forward to your guys' game, The Grand Prismatic. So I want to ask, what are your inspirations for the music for that game? If you can give us any hints about any composers that you're going with, that sort of thing. So
You're my favorite kind of question asker. Immediately dropping a plug for the next project. Thank you. Yeah, something that was really cool about Detroit Become Human, for those who may not have such a music background, is that there's actually 3 different composers for Detroit Become Human. There's one for each of the 3 protagonists. And so Nima does for Connor, which is a very synthy, techie sound. And then there's that one, which, by the way, we did actually a really cool Twitch stream collaboration with Nima, if you want to watch it, or maybe you've seen it, but I think it's up on our YouTube, where he takes us through his studio and all the kind of the tech that he uses to make his music and his thought process on the score. And there were 2 other composers who did, the more orchestral and then the kind of blockbuster movie epic stuff for Kara and for Marcus. And so that does influence us. Something that I want to, it took me a little while working with David Cage before it occurred to me. I was like, oh, this guy's, he's a composer. His brain is thinking about things first and foremost from a musicality standpoint. So this element of tempo throughout the game, the kind of rise and fall of action, and a lot of times in the scene when I would do something, I would realize he was listening for things like it being more staccato or it being more, just simply softer, And so we want to, with the Grand Prismatic, have an interesting combination. Don't hold me to any of this because it's very much in development and anything could be changed and scrapped. But we have 2 different composer friends that are working on it with us right now, and they both have very different styles and very different sounds. One of them is much more into, classical instruments and kind of this ambient orchestral thing. And the other one does a lot more like poppy, dancey kind of stuff. And so we're really interested to play with this juxtaposition, because I think the thing that makes a branching narrative game fun is when it feels really reactive to you. And if the choice is like waffles or pancakes, it's a choice, but so what, right? But then there's all the way to the other extreme, which is life and death, which is, can also be so what at a certain point, because there's a lot more nuance to life in between, and so that's what we're looking for to explore. And so we'll be using music as a big part of that. I don't want to say too much more, but I would sit here and answer that question for 5 days. So thank you for being excited. The Grand Prismatic is a branching narrative mystery game set in an impossible house that Amelia and I have been developing for a while, and then we had a baby, and so it's been a really while. And now we're back, and we're formally, actually, as of June 1st, in actual production. We have left pre-production, and it's being made. It is an empty void of gray boxes. It will someday be more detailed, but yeah, it's very cool. Thank you for asking. Hello. Connor.
Hello, Connor.
My name is Connor.
My actual name is Jay.
Hi, Jay.
So there are a lot of very unexpected and surprising moments in Detroit Become Human, and you 2 just did a playthrough where you let the die decide your decisions that led to more unexpected things. And I'm curious, what has been the most surprising moment for you that has just really stuck with you in all your playthroughs?
Wow. That's a good one.
Yeah.
The most surprising moment.
Can I start?
You go.
Okay, so in our most recent playthrough, I don't remember in the very, very end, because we ended up having a machine Connor who did not deviate, even though we really, really wanted him to. The die kept saying, no, he stays a machine. The scene with Hank and Connor on the rooftop, where it was I think it was Hank that was hanging off the roof in the very. I had never seen that version.
No, we
of it.
chucked him. We resolved it, but then he came back at us and we threw
The
him.
whole sequence was so shocking to me and so surprising, and it was just beyond. First, my heart like died as we watched it, but it was also really cool that how vastly different that relationship was versus the relationship that I have as my canon of what Hank and
Yeah, don't they always hug at the food truck? Like,
in
isn't
my
that how the
mind,
game
yes.
ends?
And it was really, really interesting to see them as adversaries, but like real adversaries. So I think for me that was one of the most surprising moments of our most recent playthrough, where I was just like, "What? How is this?"
Yeah, from the most recent playthrough, I was surprised how many mer babies there are. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, when you're playing this game, there's these mer babies everywhere, which is really weird. Because why would you need that? No, I think for me the most surprising was that I worked on the game and got all of the script for Connor, and that was it. So I had no idea what was going to happen with Kara. I had no idea what was going to happen with Marcus. So I think probably the most surprised I was like the first playthrough when we were doing Battle for Detroit, and there's that moment where you can like choose between Connor and Marcus, and they're like, you know, in that face-off, you have to decide who you're going to control. That blew my mind. But pretty much all of it was a surprise. I mean, the first playthrough of it, we were genuinely like, you know, I had some idea of what to expect, but yeah, I'm excited that there's actually so much more still. Like we have like 87, 99% on like the first 80% of the game. But then when you get to those last 2 or 3 chapters, there's just so many variations on it. Like it's going to take me until 2038 to 100% it. Yeah.
My name's Kendall. My question is, do you have any funny stories from developing the game that you would like to share with us?
Ooh. Some funny story. I had probably the most fun working with Clancy Brown, who plays Hank. And when I first met him, I was real intimidated because the dude's real tall and has a filmography that's even taller. And so, you know, I was really kind of like a little bit, you know, like Connor is to Hank in the very beginning, of a little bit standoffish. And then over time, over 2 weeks of filming, we, you know, got to be more and more buddy-buddy. And so we would start kind of messing with each other a little bit. So there's a scene where Hank is passed out drunk, and Connor's supposed to like tap him on the face and wake him up. And I don't know, it was like almost like as a joke one time, like one take where I was just like, I was going to do this really big slap to wake him up, and it played and it was fun, and they ended up keeping it around. And so then Clancy was like, let's do the flip on that. So we didn't tell anybody, but there's a part where Connor can choose to pursue after Rupert on the rooftop instead in the Nest chapter, and let Hank fall instead. And Hank comes running to catch up with him, and he just clocks Connor across the face. And that was not like a scripted beat, and we just, you know, kind of as actors plotted this little moment to do this big android slap, and everybody on set was like, did he just slap him across the face? And no, it's acting. But that was fun. So, you know, that kind of push and pull stuff, you know, playing with the coin, and then Clancy was doing his own thing of trying to learn how to play with the coins. So just little like actor beat ideas that would come up, and, you know, some of them made it in and some of them are lost to the hard drives. Hello, you two.
Hello. My name is RJ, and this is my brother, DJ.
Hello.
I was gonna ask a different question, but then a better one came to mind. I was waiting. Like all the characters are really beautifully written. At what point did the characters like stick out to you more than the others? Because when I started playing, I didn't care for Connor in the slightest. And then
Thank you. I admire your honesty.
and later on, I was like, wow, this character is amazing. This is the best character ever. I don't know what I was thinking before.
So when did the playable character? You're
Yeah.
talking about the 3 playable
Yeah.
characters? You know, it was really kind of elusive to me. You know, in reading the script, I had imagined Connor as much more of a sidekick character. I knew he was going to be playable by the character, but playable by the player, by the gamer. But I really envisioned it much more of like a very, very Marcus and Kara centered thing, especially Marcus leading the revolution. And so I think that the relationship between Kara and Alice is like it can either be like really moving or like super depressing. So it really depends on like the reaction to your playthrough. I think the what do you think? I mean, how do you?
It's a.
I feel like we played the game so many times that it's
Yeah.
all kind of this one big like blur
Yeah,
of
I'm trying
impression.
to like remember back to like the very first time. I mean, the scene in Todd's house, like really got me in the heart chakra. I mean, every single time
it's the breaking through the red wall.
Yeah,
I think is what it is. I think it was the moment of deviation where you start to see
Kara.
that character has their own motivation, not just their programmed motivation. I think that's where
Yeah, for Kara, for Marcus, I feel like when he gets to Jericho, that's really when I really started connecting with him as a character, because he's starting to make friends and have like different dynamics with the different characters depending on your choices, and then he really has this like community around him. And
unless you do, and you've never treated yourself to the lame Marcus playthrough, that's fun. Because you can
Everyone's
you
so
can be
unimpressed.
so bad at leading the revolution that everyone's just like standing around awkwardly in Jericho and then they just kind of walk away.
Thank you.
Thank you guys.
I just want to pause for a second and say I love how passionate you guys are for the franchise that you guys are in, playing it as many times as you have, you know, being able to recall these very specific moments and beats. I would just say, from the horse's mouth, do you guys have a personal canonic ending, or at least like character arc, that you personally think is the one that you always want to go down?
Yeah, Kara goes to Canada. Hank and Connor have like a nice resolution to their friendship. You know, they come around to being what do you call them? Buddies.
yeah.
And I think that Marcus singing in the Revolution is the beat that I like the best. I like the idea of appealing to humanity with, art. I think those are my kind of three main endings.
Yeah. With Kara going with Luther and Alice. Everyone's a happy family.
Everybody, we like the happy ending.
Yeah.
Hello.
Hello, my name's Gavin, and I've seen a lot of you guys just like talking with other people, like different celebrities and stuff like that. And I just had a question: which one was your favorite out of everyone you've met after the game was released? So like Jacksepticeye and etc., stuff like that. So
Oh, you mean on stream and so on?
yeah, like streaming and everything like that. What was
We've
your
got to
favorite?
meet so many cool people
So
from this.
many.
I can't pick a favorite because what's going to happen is I'm going to say like, oh, you know who's the coolest? And then I'm going to walk out in the hallway and it's going to be the other one. We've got to meet some really cool people. I would say that my favorite thing about streaming has been having the other actors who are the characters in those games come and talk about their experience, basically switching seats with you. And
just want me outta here is what it is.
but where we get to be the moderator and we get to ask the questions about what it's like. So that's something that's up on our YouTube channel if you want to check them out. We've had recently Erica Ishii, who's the ghost of Yote, came to join us. Our buddy Nick Apostolidis is Leon Kennedy, who's joined us on stream before.
Nicole Tompkins, who plays Jill.
Or Stephanie Penicillo, who plays Claire. We went from like, no way, we're not playing Resident Evil, to like, give us every Resident Evil thing you have. And like, you'll find in the Grand Prismatic, you'll go, oh, they like Resident Evil. But there's a lot of, it's really cool. And you know what's been awesome has been like, actors in particular are often very willing to talk about their project, and so when we've reached out to people and said like, hey, actually no, it was Troy who reached out to us, but like we had Troy Baker come on our stream one time for Tales of the Borderlands. We did a Q&A with him, and we painted a wall behind our streaming setup because I was like, Troy Baker's going to be here. It can't just be a boring white wall, and so we, for a while, we were like, this is Troy's wall. A nice blue.
That's all. And that soundtrack though too, from Tales of the Borderlands too, just such an amazing.
We couldn't listen to the full because we had to do a streaming one, so we had to change it. But fun fact, there was one stream that we did. We were not in our regular setup, and our headphones were died something. We couldn't hear anything.
So we just played the whole stream. I don't know why. It was just so early in the streaming thing. We were just kind of like, just keep going with it. Just keep going. So we're just like reading the subtitles and
We're
like,
live.
yeah. I don't know. You don't have to do that. You can just tell your audience
no,
that you
we
don't have
can't
sound.
hear it. Yeah.
And if you are a streamer, I'm so sorry about the sound. It's always so horrible to deal with.
Hello.
Hi, my name is Lainey. I've been a fan of Detroit Become Human since I was in middle school. I wanted to ask if there was any like outtakes or like anything that like was improvised that never got into the game, or like any scenes that were cut from the game that you really wanted in the game, but
So there were no scenes that were cut, to my knowledge. There may have been scenes that were written but not recorded, but everything that we recorded was ultimately in the game. The only thing that I can think of that is not in the game that we recorded is is an outcome where Marcus can lead the revolution, and if he dies, then North takes over and can lead the revolution. And if North dies, then it's Connor who stands upon the big machine and is giving a speech. And I think that we recorded that, and they thought that there were like case branches that could end the player there, but I think ultimately it just was like not. So the audio files are in the PC version somewhere. I've seen. You can find it on YouTube if you want to.
yeah.
like see it. But yeah.
awesome. Thank you.
Yeah, of course.
Would you say out of everything that you recorded, you wish that there was something that you actually had recorded entirely? Not something that wasn't cut, or like an idea, like a door number 3 that you wish came to fruition?
Oh, I don't know. The one thing we did record was, so Amanda, who's played by an amazing actor named Simbi Kali, who is, besides an actor, also a dancer and a choreographer. And so we had a lot of fun working together, even though the characters seem very antagonistic or untrusting of each other sometimes. But at the very end of our filming, when Simbi was wrapped out, we were like, can we do a dance? And so we did. I can't even remember what the song was. It was some like, it was like a top 40 song at the time. And so they recorded the performance capture data of it. I was really hoping that there was going to be like a post-credit dance scene, but it's very self-serious. This is a tragedy. There's not a lot of room for dance numbers, but I would love to see Amanda and Connor's models doing whatever that dance was, because when I watched it back, I was like, that was pretty good.
That's awesome. Hello.
Hello, my name is Brian, and
Yeah, it is.
I've been a fan of Detroit Become Human.
Brian's the best name, I or Y?
I.
Okay,
And
there's room for
actually,
both of us.
I've been transgender since 12 years old, and I named myself after you. So definitely a lot of inspiration. It used to be a Y, but I changed to an I. I thought it was better.
Yeah, it's fine.
One
Don't
question
tell
I
my
have
mother.
For you, yeah. One question I have for you is, I noticed a lot of your old work, and I want to know if you guys plan on doing any more roles within TV shows or films. Like, I know you guys are working on that one game project, and I'm really excited for it, but are you thinking of making a reappearance in like any medias, like films and shows and stuff?
I feel like my focus is with games. When we started streaming, I had never played a video game before, and after playing through Detroit, because that was the first real video game that I ever experienced, I was absolutely just awestruck with the emotional experience that a player could go on, or even someone who was just watching, versus TV, where it's much more you're seeing somebody else's vision just like play out in front of you. And after getting to experience playing games, I was like, this is where I have to put my energy. And so for me, this is the brightest spot on the horizon. So that's where I'm running towards.
Yeah, it's a great question. I had one day of auditions where I like auditioned for like a Nickelodeon like kids sitcom, and also like the most dark, horrible indie horror movie you've ever seen in your life. And I was like, I need to pick a direction. Like this is not making any sense. And so I was like journaling about like what do I really want to do? And I landed on like Andy Serkis as Gollum. I was like, that's my dream thing, you know? And so performance capture is, I mean, I'd be happy to do performance capture in a movie or a TV show if it was applicable. But I think in video games, there's so much more of like, you know, we really love the world of like high fantasy or sci-fi or like things that are like, you know, I make the joke often, like if there was a Waterworld video game, like I would be there for it. Like I just like projects where like the whole world is now a new way. Yeah.
Hi, my name is Lexi. I was just wondering what is it like working together on something you guys are passionate about, like video games or whatever?
I'm sorry, what'd you say
What
again?
is it like working together?
Yes, like something
yeah.
you guys are passionate about. Sorry, I'm anxious and it's
So
like
am I.
new for me.
Yeah.
It's okay. It just means we're alive. It's good.
Yes.
Was it like working together on things that we're passionate about? It's miserable. I hate it. It's terrible. I got this beautiful wife who plays video games with me, and I call it a job. We have a lot of fun. It's working on the Grand Prismatic development has been a new and kind of a new era for us because it's been a long time since I've been so giddy about something that like I work on it until it's too late and I'm like, okay, I just have to stop. It's 1 a.m. and put it down. And then I wake up and like the first thing I want to do is go back to like writing what I was doing beforehand. So I think that having that as, in a partnership is really awesome. I think having, play in a relationship is super important. So like if you're, in a relationship with someone or with family members, I think it's a great way to like spend time to play games together. I think it's an age-old thing. Gaming.
Yeah. We met playing together. We met at an audition, and so that was the very first thing we were doing together was playing make believe. And so I'm very grateful that we get to continue to do that. And the way we've played has changed, and now we're playing games, and now we're like creating games, and it's the best.
Yeah. I want to throw on that just with the like, if there's something you're passionate about, like this whole like us going into game development thing felt very daunting, so much so that it sort of froze us. Like we didn't really know how to proceed. So one day we were talking about it, and just at that point we had like, okay, we want to do something that all takes place in one location. It's gonna be a site-specific story, and we want to talk about like human powers, like what besides empathy, what are the other like superpowers of being a human. And we're just like, we don't know where to go. And so we just like made this list of like, okay, who could we possibly talk to next about this? We made a list of like 8 people, and we checked in with those people. And what's been really cool is like just the passion or the excitement about it alone has been enough for us to figure out what to do next each time. So if you have an idea for like a comic book, or you have an idea for a game or some project, but you don't know where to go, I just really want to encourage you to like just put one foot in front of the other, because the passion to just get to the next step ultimately is enough. I mean, I think it is. So, hi.
Hi. I was curious. I've had so many points since playing the game in real life where I tie it back to the game. I'm like, oh, this is oddly similar. And I was just curious if either of you guys have any standout moments where you've noticed something in real life that has been very similar to the plot or concept of the game.
Well, AI took my job.
Yeah, honestly, that's been a pretty major part. Is the actors union, SAG-AFTRA, had this huge strike for a long time, where we were fighting for our rights with AI usage and digital replicas. So creating like a digital version of yourself that could be puppeteered by an AI program.
And one of the final sticking points in that was that if the union were to go on strike, that so too our digital replica would also be struck. And for a very long time, the game developers were like, no. Once we got you scanned into the computer, that's our little puppet slave. And we're like, that's horrible.
Yeah.
So
It was also not all game developers.
No,
it
no,
was
no.
just there was a certain
a lot
group,
of the
yeah.
big ones. And but we will give voice to, in particular, Santa Monica Studio, who reached out to us before that strike began and offered us roles in the God of War Sons of Sparta game. It's like a Metroidvania game. And they had to pause because of the strike, and there was definitely opportunities for them to like go out of the country or to go non-union or to do AI kind of stuff, and they were like, no, even though our super entity is still being struck against, we're going to wait this out, and they did, and I think it was majorly to their credit. So there's a lot of game developers, and the games that I think people really love, like their heart sticks to the game because the characters and the story and the script and all that is the most important. I think there's those ones get it,
Yeah.
Hello.
Hi.
Hello, I'm Noah. I actually played Detroit for the first time just a few months ago, and I was so obsessed with it that I finished the whole thing in one sitting. I have a job, I promise, but my question is, like, as actors, when you're filming a game, with different choices like Detroit? Do you film it sequentially, or do you do like a friendly path or the assertive path, or like how do you put yourself in like that emotional mindset as an actor when you're constantly switching moods depending on what the player chooses and that sort of thing?
It is a challenge. I wish that it was possible to record each of the scenes through each of the ways, right? That would be the easiest for me as an actor. Would be like, oh, okay, well, now we're going to go through this. But really what would happen is, I'm sorry I keep using you as Clancy, but when we were on set with Clancy Brown, a.k.a. /Hank, and if that actually is Clancy, it's going to blow my mind. But that Hank would have a line in which Connor could reply to 4 different ways, right? And so we would do what they called the cycle. So Hank would say, like, you know, what's the matter with you, Connor? And I would say, I'm fine. And then I would go back to a neutral place, and then I'd be like, I'm really pissed. And then I'd go back to a neutral place, and then I'd like say the other. So it was very manic. You had to go back and forth and back and forth. Especially a difficult example of that was the interrogation scene with Carlos Ortiz's android named Sholan Being, and he is silent for 9 pages. And so that was just me across from a table with someone who's not responding to me for 9 pages of all of these different tactics. So the way that they technically accomplish that is by breaking the scenes into smaller and smaller beats. So the interrogation scene was able to be recorded in larger chunks, but like we would do, like the segment at the bar is maybe like 2 pages. Cut. Okay, next thing. So they'd be broken into like 2 or 3 minute sections instead of running the whole 12-minute scene top to bottom like you'd do in other media. It's a good question.
Yeah.
And congrats on finishing the game in one sitting. That's amazing.
You must have had crazy dreams.
Hi, I'm Echo.
Hi, Echo.
My main question was, out of just not even just Detroit Become Human, but your guys' whole acting careers, what was the most like impactful when you're like, oh my gosh, like I really just did that. Like that's awesome. I know, kind of weird.
Spoilers. But if you watched, who has anyone watched MTV Scream, the series? No? Okay. Then I will. If you don't want to know, you can plug your ears, but I got to...
Is anyone currently in the middle of MTV's Scream Season 1? We don't want to... No. Okay, you're good.
Spoiler, I ended up being the killer. So I was Ghostface, and I didn't know it until, like... there was like 8 episodes in the season, and I didn't find out, or like not. Anyway, I didn't find out until almost the very, very end. And so I had spent the entire season thinking, okay, it's this person, it's this person, it's this person. And then the writers invited me to a meeting, and they're like, "So it's you? You've been killing all the kids in the city?" And I'm like, "What?"
And I was like, I knew it. Typical.
And so when I got to film that final like reveal scene where I take off the mask, that was like I couldn't believe I was.
She was a
doing
huge
it.
Scream fan before she booked that job, so to be Ghostface was pretty cool.
Yeah, that was I blacked out, so I don't remember filming it, but I just remember being like, I can't believe that these are the shoes I'm gonna fill. This is extremely exciting, and then also like, oh my god, it's so scary.
Amelia and I worked on a film called Commencement when I very first moved to LA. My family's in Michigan. I did a road trip from Michigan to LA and went to stay with a friend, and like had yet to get an apartment, and just basically had all my stuff in this car that I'd bought, and was like, "Hi, I'm here in LA to be an actor." And like the first or second week, I auditioned for this little indie film called Commencement, and I booked the part opposite of Amelia. And it changed the course of my life, and now we're parents, and we live this. It's been 13 years, so that was a good surprise.
You gotta be careful. She's a serial killer too. So
yeah, I know.
Only
I know.
sometimes. Only sometimes.
If I ever go missing.
Hi, my name is Ren. My question for you is there any scene that you guys filmed that after filming and going home for the day stuck with you so much that you still like use any lessons through that scene or anything to your day-to-day life now?
I think that it's really important for an actor to have a separation from work and home. even so much with like streaming. Like after we finish just playing through an intense game or whatever, we need a little decompression time before we go return to like domestic life. I've always really wanted to keep that a major separation. I did what is the best way to, how can you even describe this film? I did a horror movie called The Remaining, which has to do with the rapture. And I had this scene where my wife dies and I'm cursing God, and then I eventually get stabbed by this demonic end of times thing through the stomach. But I was like in a church where we filmed it, and I was like saying this prayer, and I was like, what I'm about to say, I don't mean, dude. Like, I'm just, please, like, don't take this literally. It's just a job, man. I need the money, man. I'm so sorry, dude. So, like, that fucked me up for a while. Am I allowed to say that? Can you beat me out? Yeah, I don't know. But that was like more of like the build up to it. But like, you really don't want to curse the unknown. Yeah.
Got really deep there.
Yeah.
Couldn't you just think about it?
Yeah.
Space is just a void.
So the first time I played the game, I got the ending where it was Hank and Connor at the food truck, and then Marcus freed all of them. But I realized too late that they couldn't, all three of them couldn't get to Canada if I was on the boat. So I ended up only getting, I think, Kara and Alice to Canada. What was like the saddest ending you've gotten in the game?
There's so many good sad ones.
I know.
So sad. So tragic.
Also, congratulations.
Yeah, good work.
That's a pretty epic way to end your first playthrough. The saddest.
I mean, the saddest ending is the ending where with Hank. There's a worst case scenario for Hank that I won't go into, which I believe should have an alternate variation. I don't think that if anyone is struggling and feeling in a dark, despondent place, that outcome is predeterminate. So I do think that. If I, like you said, a door number 3 option, I would have added a scene of empathy with Connor and Hank that you could turn out of that one, the Russian roulette scene. And I mean, it's all pretty sad. I would say like 90% of the game is really sad. Yeah. They had a sign at Quantic up that said, "We are making a Greek tragedy," and so I think that is a good. A good essence. What else was really sad? I mean, everything in Kara's storyline is sad. Yeah. It's horrible sad. And when you roll the die and let the die determine, it gets really, really sad. So we had to give Kara and Alice inspiration. So we allowed them re-rolls. Because we were like, we're not
trapping you at Todd's.
Yeah.
Thank you.
But I guess the die in itself also too like invokes emotion from you as well, because you see it roll. Even when you're doing a playthrough of just letting the die go, and you still want to interfere.
Yes.
You're trying to go like, no.
Well, and that's what we found out. We realized like when we were doing different playthroughs, like you will probably make a similar choice. Even if you're really trying to make a different choice, your gut instinct is going to tell you to do one thing or the other thing, which I think is a really interesting litmus test for, what kind of a person are you, which is a core theme of the Grand Prismatic. We really want to see how we can build a game that will give you a personal readout, a personal experience at the end, so that you feel like by the time you got to the end of the game, that ending is telling you something about yourself.
That you've learned something about yourself.
I love that. Hello.
Hello, my name is Sally. First, I want to say my favorite time playing the game was with my cousin, who immediately was like, I'm going to traumatize Connor.
Thank you.
Connor was, we adored him so much. I do have, my question is, what was your favorite part and least favorite part of the story?
I think my favorite part of the story is where Connor sort of emulates Hank in deviancy, I guess, in that way, where Hank is always kind of like, don't tell me what to do. I'm coming into work late, and like, I don't give a shit. He's just kind of this crusty old detective guy. And I think that the dynamic there with Connor, seeing him as an example, is fun. So I like the idea of Connor, becoming more human in that way.
I think my favorite thing about the game, of course, I'm a little biased, but also like, not really, is Connor in general. Like, I think that character is so special because of the way that the player can really move him back and forth. All of the branching choices within the scenes really add so much nuance and layers to the character that feel very dynamic, and also put the player in the control of the make them the director essentially, and the actor as well, because you're making these choices that could go from like really threatening to very empathetic to cold to empathetic to threatening, just like at the toss of a coin. And so I think that special sauce is what makes Connor such a beautiful character, and that you did a really beautiful job making each of those very different, so that it feels that Connor can feel so many different ways for so many different people.
The goal was to like put a bunch of toys in front of you and be like, here you go, play with them. And like there's a lot of like internet discourse about like what's like the canon ending or what's allowed or what's not. It's like it's a make believe, you know what I mean? Like we're all playful people, or we probably wouldn't be at Comic-Con, you know. So there's like let your imagination go. Yeah,
absolutely.
Don't forget about your least favorite part.
My least favorite part is that basically Kara and Alice are continually subjected to violence. That's my least favorite part. Yeah.
Thank you.
And we've got time for 3 more questions here, so let's make them lightning so that way everybody gets a chance.
All right, speed round.
Hello. I know you guys talk a lot about how Detroit Become Human has kind of changed your lives, and it's stuck with me for a long time too. Even after all these years, I still like find myself thinking about it a lot. And so I wanted to ask you, outside of Detroit Become Human, is there a video game that you've played that's like really stuck with you for a long time?
Gris is a game that is about the different stages of grief. And I thought it was so powerful and beautiful how they were able to gameize those different emotions. And I think that is a game that I still think about and want and take inspiration for going forward.
Yeah, one that stands out to me, and I think also the game you play and when you play it makes a big difference. So when a game kind of meets you in your life, I don't know how you all felt about 2020 to 2022 or whatever, but that time sucked, and I wanted out, and so I went to Tsushima. And so Ghost of Tsushima was an escape for me. It was one of the first games that I was like, I got 100% this thing, because I just wanted to be in that world.
Thank you.
Thank you. We got time for our last 2 questions here.
Right.
Firewatch was my answer. I really
Firewatch is
Firewatch
great.
is really good. I love that one.
I don't know if you already answered this. I came in here like 20 minutes late. Is there any part in the game that you wish you could redo, maybe regret, after seeing it played out in scenarios after the game released?
No regrets.
Nope.
Live
like
fast,
no
die
scenarios.
young.
Maybe
Always
your
looking to the
least
future.
favorite part you could probably do over.
I just really don't. I'll do it in the next thing. I mean, I for all the creative types in this room, I'm a big fan of like make a thing next, make a thing next, make a thing next. I don't really look back on them that way.
Yeah. No, I'm really happy with the work that I did in that game, and I only wish that Tracy could have had more to do. Like after they had run away to Jericho, I would have loved to follow a little bit more of what happened to them. But besides that, I'm really proud of the work that I did, and yeah.
Thank you. We got time for our last question here.
Hi, my name is Lewis, and I've probably played Detroit Become Human like 15 times over, despite knowing every ending, because it's just so good how you guys portray your characters. But with that, as you're like reading the script and you're recording and really sinking into your character, are there any points where you guys go back to Quantic and be like, hey, could we do this a little differently, or is there a possibility this can change? Like, do you guys, how deeply involved do you get with your character once you sat in it?
Yeah, I think that when you first start working on a character, there's a lot, and conveniently it works with Connor being an android programmed. The first time that I was on set was the rooftop scene for the negotiation. And so I was really trying to stay in my line, hit the mark, do the thing, do a good job, be a good little robot, you know, didn't want to lose the job, get recast. And so I think that presents in the character. But then over the course of time, you kind of get more and more of a familiarity with the character. You have more and more ownership over the character. And ultimately, you know, Quantic was very trusting, and they were like, here you go. Do your thing. So there were definitely times where we'd bring it up on set and say like, hey, how about this? One thing that comes to mind for me, there was a conversation on set that I remember really like, you know, standing my ground on was with the shoot or don't shoot Chloe thing. And it was a real simple thing, but they wanted to have Kamsky lower the gun for Connor if he didn't shoot. And I was just like, it has to be Connor that lowers the gun. And it's just a simple adjustment of whether or not, but it's like, it's Connor making the choice to do it. And so there's more of those moments would present in like little behavioral choices or like blocking things rather than like, hey, I want to change the script on this one. I didn't do a lot of like on-set rewrites, but you know, sometimes you just run into things that are, you know, tricky to say. So you're like, hey, can we take some of the S's out of these 7 words or whatever? But yeah, they were cool about listening to our input and so on.
Yeah, I feel like they definitely trusted us as actors and as performers to follow our instincts. And if there were certain things that they wanted to adjust on set, then they would give a direction. But I definitely felt like I went in with an idea and that I was able to fly with it.
Yeah, they were very respectful of, you know, once you had the job, it was, you know, for us to figure out now. Yeah.
That's awesome.
Thank you all for these questions.
Of course, this
Thank
was
you
so
for
much
hosting
fun
us.
on behalf of Indiana Comic Convention. Let's give it up for them. Thank you guys so much for spending some time with us. This is so much fun.
Thank you.
Of course.